Welcome to Rocky Horror Minute and Shock Treatment Minute. We are the podcast where you can get all of your itty bitty tiny granular details about Rocky Horror Picture Show and Shock Treatment. I am one of your hosts, Leandra.
And I'm your other host, Kelly, and we are joined today once again by the incredible Linus O'Brien, director of the new documentary Strange Journey, the story of Rocky Horror.
Hello. Yes, it's a pleasure to be back here. It's funny when you were talking about, because I know it's Rocky Horror Minute, so it's digested minute by minute. There's that really funny moment when I watched it, like just before I did the documentary, where I think it's the time warp that's going on, and my dad hands a donut or tries to offer a
Yeah.
donut to Brad and Janet, and I just absolutely burst out laughing because it's like the last donut you'd ever want to eat, and delivered in such a way that makes it completely not what you'd want to do. It's very funny.
Yeah.
I I know that I've said it before, I'll say it again. Um, Richard O'Brien, particularly in the Time Warp,
Mm.
super fun physical acting
Yeah.
choices. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I it's really it really
Yeah.
is just super cool that he not only created a a cultural phenomenon, but he is part of it too
Yeah, it's true.
in such a
I
great
was
way.
trying to think of another example of where the writer has been part of his own work. I can't have happened very often. Maybe, maybe more. It must have happened. Obviously, maybe in like in more in dramatic stuff, and maybe even in comedies. But in musicals, I think it's quite rare. I think.
Yes, certainly is very
Yeah.
rare.
Yeah.
Um, Barbara Streisand comes to mind because
Right.
later in
Yes.
her
Yes.
career she
Yes.
really liked to be
Absolutely.
involved. She wanted to be the
Of course.
director, the lead, the writer, everything.
Yeah.
But it is
Producer.
incredibly rare. And
Yeah.
I mean, Rocky Horror in general is such a unique thing. So it's the documentary really does it justice. And I have to, before anything else, I have to say it's an incredibly valuable and just fascinating documentary in its own right. I did have high hopes for it, especially after speaking to
Mhm.
you the first time, because I could see that you went into this with artistic vision and it wasn't just a cash grab or anything like that.
Oh,
But still,
definitely not. It was a cash loss at
yeah,
this stage.
exactly. That's what we tell people about the podcast too. Uh,
It's my favorite money pit.
Exactly. But those types of documentaries sometimes end up falling a little flat. They'll cover well-trodden ground and things we've all seen before. This is completely different. There was so much new information that at least I had not heard before, and I consider myself to be somebody who has really pored over the available materials on Rocky
Sure.
Horror. I mean, I did analyze the movie minute by minute. And also there's just new content. I know Leandra and I both really enjoyed the scenes where Richard O'Brien and Richard Hartley were playing songs in, I'm assuming,
Mhm.
one of their living rooms,
In
or
his
maybe
my dad's
yours.
living room in New
Yeah.
Zealand, actually. Yeah.
That was so fun. And actually it really highlighted to me, people think of Richard O'Brien, of course, as an actor, a voice actor. Many people think of him as the host to Crystal Maze, but honestly, I guess before anything else, as far as I know, he was kind of it was about the music for him, because at least I know that he wrote a lot of songs prior to creating Rocky Horror that were just songs that he would perform out
Hmm.
and about. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he picked up a guitar very early on, 14 or 15 years old, wrote his first song, and sort of, inspired by his 50 favorite 50s rock and rollers, especially Little Richard. Has a very distinct memory of walking down Hamilton High Street and hearing Little Richard for the first time. So yeah, it's music has always been such a key part of his life, the main part of his life when it
Yeah.
comes to artistic expression. So yeah, just pass that on to myself and also to my son, who's very much into music as well.
Oh,
Uh,
that's great.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's very nice.
Three generations at least then. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, really, he he have has such a rock star air in this documentary. Does he always dress so cool, or was he just doing that when
No, no, he always wears those very interesting clothes,
yeah.
even casual clothes around the house. He likes to wear interesting things depending on how he's feeling. He wakes up the day, he's feeling this way or that way, and he's just always a very interesting wardrobe for
In the
as long as I
opening
can.
scene, he's rocking some like high-heeled, almost beetle boots type of things, and I
Sure.
was
I
like,
mean, it's funny because in the Crystal Maze, people said, "Oh, they always loved what he wore in the Crystal Maze," and I was like, "Well, that's all his own wardrobe, so that's it."
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
So,
yes, go on. I was just gonna gush more.
oh,
Yeah.
um, one of the things that I loved most about the documentary was these were people who not only know your father, but they also know you at least enough to say when your father did this.
Hmm.
And I thought that that was just so incredibly charming, and it made it feel like it was such an intimate story.
Hmm.
Um, were there any people that you really wished that you could have gotten an interview with, but weren't available?
Um, well, well, not really. I think we would like to have talked to Brian Thompson, the set designer and the artistic director. But I don't think he wanted to be involved. I think he's not. I
Mm.
don't know. Maybe he's not into the scene anymore, I guess. And we were never. We wanted to fly to Australia, but we never managed it. We ended up doing filming Jim Sharman remotely. So that would have been nice because I think his work in Rocky is sizable. I mean, there's a reason why the end of the movie especially looks so beautiful. I mean, obviously the cinematographer and the director as well, but the stage setups and the
Hmm.
the artistic choices made throughout out the film and the play were an integral part of making Rocky what it is. So it would have been nice to chat to him. And I think the only other person I wanted to interview was Quentin Tarantino. I wanted to. He wrote about Rocky and the Tiffany Theater very briefly at the beginning of his book Cinema Speculation, and I was hoping that he would just give her like a bit of color to the times, basically, because I know he's so well spoken and has a great memory for film. So and apparently he went up. My sister passed him many years ago at a party or something, and he leant over to her and says, "I know all the words to science fiction double feature." And I was like, "Okay, come on, that's isn't surely that's enough to get on camera and give us 20 minutes." But apparently he didn't think he could justify or do justice to what we were doing, which is a bit of a shame because I think it would have been nice. But
Yeah.
other than those two people, that was about it, really. Otherwise, we got everyone we wanted to talk to, and yeah, it worked out quite well for all of us. And to go back to what you were saying earlier about, how much you enjoyed the documentary and the way it developed and all of that. It's a testament, really, to the team that we have in place. Um, without my producers, Adam Gibbs and Garrett Price, and without my creative partner, my editor and producer as well, Avner Shiloh, he's my old friend, it wouldn't have come together the way it did. So, all thanks to them, really, and thanks to us as a team. And then it goes down to all the other people who may, Ben Kaufman, Lo Fahey, like when you're making a film, it's such a collaborative medium, and really that's the takeaway here is that yes, I'm the face and I spearheaded the project and I came up with the idea, but without everyone's input, we don't get the movie that we have, which we're incredibly happy with, and everyone else seems to be happy with it too. I mean, we just released the trailer yesterday, and I think in less than 24 hours it hit 1 million views on Instagram. So the love has been pouring out of the internet, which is really encouraging ahead of the release in the US on the 25th of September.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really is. It's a wonderful film on every level. It's so beautifully
Mm.
shot. The editing, it's very tight and fast paced. It doesn't kind of durdle.
No,
Uh,
yeah, I mean that was. Let me mention Warren Commerce. He's a
yeah.
cinematographer for us, and yeah, that main shot of my dad, that's the establishing shot. It's the first interview we had. That really set the tone for the look of the film and the way we shot it from very early on. Um, and wait, you mentioned something else after that. What was it about
The
again?
editing.
Yeah, the pace of it.
Yeah.
That's something that's very important because we wanted to keep it to 90 minutes, but we had to fit everything in and make sure that everything had its own weight and that it was never lagging. And I think that's, a testament to Avner for the most part, and then a little bit to myself as we edited the movie over 2 months together. And that's very short editing time, but we are very particular. We're very opinionated, both of us. And usually the loudest voice rang out without any kind of problem about that. It was like, okay, he's getting louder, he's more passionate about this. We're going to go down this road, and you wouldn't push back because usually, I would say, 95% of the time, whoever was the loudest or most passionate about it was correct, really. And I was really sad when the process was over because I'd had such an enjoyable time with him. Like it was maybe, one of the best times of my life, basically.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I was very happy to see Trixie Mattel. Leandra and I are both huge fans. And I would say that was a great get because I would say, as far as I know, she has to be the most famous former Shadowcast member. I don't know of
Right.
any other celebrities that are on her level that I know of that were on Rocky Horror Shadowcast. So it was a real treat, and I didn't even realize that's where she got her drag name from, the
Yeah.
Trixie part.
And I think that I think Trixie almost manifested that somehow. I think we obviously were very interested in having her be a part of it, but I think Trixie's story wanted to be told,
Yeah,
and it was important for her to tell it, and that bears out obviously because we have basically three openings to the movie and Trixie being the final one before my dad starts telling the story about when he first arrived in England, and so it was a window like because the thing is you don't want the story to be too linear where you're like okay not starting with my dad's story but having these soft starts and then having Trixie's Shadowcast story at the beginning lets everyone kind of gives a taste of the Shadowcast before actually we get right into the story at the end of it. And so those things, those subtle ways of coming back and telling a little bit of the end of the story or the Shadowcast before the linear story takes off of Rocky, I think that's very important. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you talked a little bit the last time we talked about there being a companion book for the
Mm,
documentary.
yeah.
Is there, what can we look forward to seeing in that?
Well, that's it's two books. One's an original script book where they reprint the original script and then put new annotated notes and pictures amongst it. And then the second book, which is the book that I'm very heavily involved with, is the documentary companion book. So we shot hours and hours of footage. We shot 13, 15 hours of footage with my dad and about 1 to 2 hours for every interview that we had. So obviously their sound bites amount to 30 seconds, a minute, maybe, maybe even shorter. And so we were able to go through all those transcripts and edit them in story form and make this great linear story about how Rocky came to be and the effect that it's had in so much detail. And then we used a lot of the pictures and the original script pages and just really filled in the blanks for anyone who's unsure. So I think it's really, there's been a lot of books written about Rocky and its history and everything. I really think it's going to be the most comprehensive history of the stage play and the movie and the subsequent midnight screening. So I'm very excited about for people to have that and really flesh out the documentary in book form. Yeah, it's a very happy coincidence that that all came together. So yeah,
Genuinely can't wait. I am dying to see that.
yeah,
I'm so
Absolutely.
me
excited.
too. I mean, I have the PDF of it, but there's something
Of
obviously
course.
that you want to hold
Oh
it in your
no,
hands.
I must have a physical copy. Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
it's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah,
And I mean, just and the there were so many materials that I was seeing just briefly in the documentary that I just thought, oh man, I'd love to get a better look at that. So one
right,
thing I
right.
noticed some Sue Blaine, like there were some original like concept sketches Sue Blaine did for
Yeah,
costume designs.
I'm confused about where those came from. I can't remember. I know they came from somewhere. I don't know if it was the Rocky Horror scrapbook or from her original thing. I'm not exactly sure, but somehow we got the rights to license them, and I wonder if they're. Let me. I mean, I can have a quick look. Where's the preview here? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll find it later on. They're here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that there's one character on it that I think is meant to be like a proto Columbia, and she's the
Right.
only one who had a nipple out. So I don't know. I was like,
Right.
maybe that was Sue Blaine's design. That's always attributed to Nell being a little cheeky, but maybe that was always the intent for the character.
Oh,
Um,
there's going to be so. Oh man, you're going to have a blast with this. It's funny because you make these things, like the documentary, like the trailer, like the book, and they exist in your world because you've made them. But when they get put out into the world, they seem to change, or people's opinions of them change your opinions. It's weird because when the trailer, I'd seen the trailer a few times. Have you seen it as well? My dad does the
Oh,
introduction to,
yeah. Oh,
yeah,
yes. We
and
posted it on
so
our social media.
yeah, exactly. And so I have seen it a bunch of times and I knew it, but then once I realized it was out into the world, and once I realized everyone was watching it, it took on like a whole new dimension for me. And I think that's going to be the case for the documentary and for the book. It's they exist and then they exist again, if that makes any sense.
I
Yeah.
definitely understand what where you're going with that for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I'm glad you do. I don't know if anyone else will.
Oh no, they will. They will. And I don't know. It's honestly so rich with information, the whole
Hmm.
documentary. I'm not going to spoil a lot of the big reveals, but I will just tease that Patricia Quinn may or may not have made out with Meatloaf, it seems.
Well, those two stories of hers, the head in a clamp story and the
Oh
meat
yeah, that one
story.
I see
I
everyone
mean,
quoting the head in the
they
clamp.
we knew those were funny, but seeing
Hmm.
it in a theater with people, they destroy every single time. So I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
Yeah.
Pat is very happy about that, as are we. I mean, they're bring the house down moments, and it's really nice. Like it's funny because usually, I mean, it's always nice to see a movie with people, obviously an audience, and but it's rare to do that with documentaries, and then it's rare again that you get taken on such an emotional ride. So people are cheering at some points, some they're crying at some points, they're feeling sad at some points. It's really it's it became much more emotional than I originally thought it would be. And so, yeah, I keep getting a kick out of it when I see it at festivals with people. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not tired of it yet, especially the last half hour. I could watch it over and over again with audiences.
Yeah. I
I know
really
I cried multiple times.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I actually I made a note that I first got misty at the 3 minute mark, but yeah, I was at many points getting choked up, which I will admit that's not the greatest compliment in the world. I'm kind of an easy mark, but really I was
Right.
very emotional. It because it's a love letter to the community as well as the movies,
I
or
can't
the movie.
to celebrate the fans, right, who've put so
Hmm.
much into this, so much of their lives, feel so connected to it, have built their communities around it, who feel a little less alone because of it. Like to celebrate them and give it to them, it's the best. It's that I love that it's connecting in this way because this is exactly what we intended it to do. I really wanted to celebrate my dad's music, and I really wanted to tell the history of Rocky, but I really wanted the fans to felt seen, you
Yeah.
know, and for other people who don't know anything about Rocky to see them as well. I went to this Riverbend film festival this last weekend. Sorry, it's a bit of a blur. I went from Burning Man to the film festival, and so I'm like absolutely destroyed now. Um, we went to the Riverbend Film Festival. On the way out at the airport, this woman came up to us and goes, "Oh, I saw your movie the other." Um, uh, Sorry, I've just got it on the other line. Uh, I saw your film the other night, and I really didn't know. I saw Rocky Horror years ago, and I didn't know what to make of it, and I didn't really know too much about it. But when I saw it, your documentary, it really made me appreciate how much it's meant to people, um, and uh, and that's exactly what a good documentary is meant to do. And in many ways, it was. I became quite emotional when she told me that because if we can get people who are just non-fans to buy into it and enjoy it and appreciate it that much, then we're on the right track. And so yeah, it was very, very nice to hear.
Absolutely. Yes, it truly it's fascinating the way that it has evolved into uh its own culture that has its own like oral traditions and it's constantly evolving. I'm very, very pleased with how the community was represented in the movie and how
Mm.
and j some of the interviews that you had with various fans and Shadowcast members were some of my favorite parts, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's funny because we don't know how we want to give everyone enough time, like feel like they were given enough time, but also it's the placing of that story. So to have the modern day shadow casts be right at the end, basically, even
Hmm.
though they weren't given as much time as I probably would have liked, something about overall pacing which is important. So placing them right at the end and making them seem that they're the focus of the first hour, 20 minutes, like is basically they represent the continuation of everything that's gone on. I think was really important for us. So we were able to shoot at the Angelica in New York and the New Art in Santa Monica. And the New Art was a fantastic one because it was on Halloween. Everyone was in super top form, and we got some amazing shots through our cinematographer. I mean, such a cool shot of the camera was behind Brad and Janet. Oh no, Rocky and Janet as they're
Yes,
doing the scene, and then they were shooting towards the audience, and the lights coming towards us, and it's all like lens
I
flary,
I
and
know
I'm
the
just like,
exact
God,
shot
this
you
is
mean. Yeah.
so dope. Like it's so good. And
Hmm.
I think it resonates to my dad's story about seeing it at the convention with Dory Hartley for the first time and how Dory's silhouette was as big as Frank on the screen and the audience is just singing the refrain at the same time and he's going, this is a combination of live audience, live theater and cinema coming together in a way that he hadn't seen before. And so when we got that beautiful shot of Rocky and Janet, I'm like, we got a modern day version of what my dad was talking about, where the shadow cast and the audience and the cinema create something entirely new, and it's about as artistic as you can get, and it was really nice to elevate what the shadow casts are doing and shine a literal spotlight on their work and the passion they put into it.
Yes, I found myself seething with jealousy that they got such great shots of their performances.
Right, right,
We'll have to
sure.
hire a professional
But
videographer someday.
they're you though.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. Like all the shots that we got of the shadow cast represent all the shadow
Yes,
casts. So I think it's everyone can see themselves up there. Hopefully, through what we got.
certainly. It captured the feeling too of being on stage, that particular scene. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was really something great. As the documentary or as the director of the documentary, what do you want people to pay special attention to when they watch it?
Um, I just want them to go along for the ride. I think we did a good job of from the first scene is like kind of sucking people in and holding their attention and not getting totally wrapped up in the overall story and everything that comes. I think that's been one of the greatest things. I went to see it in Provincetown. It opened the festival there at Town Hall, and you could tell right from the beginning everyone was locked in. No one got up from their chairs the entire time. No one came in. It was a locked in audience, and I was like, "This is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to hold people, get people's attention, and hold it there throughout the whole thing. So there was no downtime, no shuffling around, no looking at your phone, just like I think that's what I personally would like. And
Yeah.
for them, you know, enjoy the history of Rocky, enjoy the story, my dad's personal journey, how it took him a while to come into who he was or who he is, and and I think it all pays off in the end. Hopefully it's going to keep resonating with audiences and give a deep appreciation for the community and the connection that Rocky has provided, the safe space that Rocky has provided. There's that story from one of the original Shadowcast members, Sean Waters, who tells a story about having to leave from home and being on the streets. And I think he speaks for a lot of people, a lot of disenfranchised and different marginalized people. And to hear him talk about what a what a beautiful place it was to grow up, really
Yeah.
means something to me.
Yeah, I think that's relatable to many of us in the community and
Yeah.
possibly going to be more so as we move forward just through some challenging years. But
Yeah. Yeah,
um,
I'm excited for people to to embrace what Rocky has done for people, and I can't wait for it to get out into theaters and to hear I hear all the stories all the time. There was a gentleman just today, and I sent the message to my dad today. Said. Richard is such a wonderful person. I love him madly, and I'm so happy to see him cheerful and happy. Thank you, Richard O'Brien, for being who you are, for the wonderful sunshine of your personality that lights up our lives. Thank you for your creation. You're always amazing and brilliant. Thanks to your wonderful son, Linus, and the team that created the new project, everything is just great. It's like we are getting those messages, hundreds of those messages a day, and it's quite overwhelming, really, because we set out to make the movie the way we did and to have it actually be a reality, like have it all worked out after 3 years. It feels like lightning in a bottle, you know?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know that all of our listeners are going to be excited to watch it because anyone who listens to a minute by minute podcast of Rocky Horror is going to watch the
It's got to be
documentary when
completely
it comes out.
insane.
And
We should do a minute by minute of the
of the
documentary.
documentary, yeah, but we were looking for something to do after shock treatment. That's what hopefully we can count on you as a guest.
Second by second. We'll do 1 second each show.
But it's in theaters September 26th, is that
Oh,
correct?
it's September 25th is when we do
Oh,
some late
25th.
night previews, and
Okay.
then it's September 26th. And some of you have to go to rockyhorrordoc.com, and some of them are just one-offs in these cities where it's just showing for literally one performance, and then others are the extended week, and we're adding theaters all throughout October. The idea would be to get up to about 200 screens by Halloween, and it's really grassroots, and it's ridiculous that it has to be because I mean it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but I guess I
No.
am. Like the documentary's super strong, but and this is the thing, right? And I might have said it to you last time. Whenever there was an issue with like something that didn't quite work out with the documentary, like a location or interview or something, something usually better came along. And
Yeah.
that's been true for my life as well. But this is like the ultimate test of that theory. you know, because we got rejected by all these streamers, all these distribution companies, and it's been incredibly frustrating given the importance of the subject matter, the quality of the film, and the people involved. It makes no sense. But having said that, if this all works out with the grassroots screening and self distribution, we could be ahead of the game and we could be doing something that, in many ways, is much better than if it had just gone to HBO or Netflix or whatever. And it's still, you know, it still will go to one of those eventually. But the fact that we're being forced to put it into theaters makes me feel like the universe is forcing us to put it into theaters. And it's important that it does because we need a sense of community. And what better way to keep engender that than getting it into theaters? So I think in many ways, being forced to do it and having this be the reality is probably the honest way that the universe wants it to happen. So fingers crossed.
Absolutely. And as a favor to me, could you get started on one for shock treatment now?
I wonder what that would be like. I think I'd be happy to do like a half hour. I think I
Yeah,
could do a half
That's
hour
fair.
on shock treatment. And yeah, I think I could do
that's
that.
good.
Maybe
That
40 minutes or 45 minutes. You know, I think
Yeah.
that's about the sum total. So we'll see. If someone was to give me $1 million, I'd go and make it.
okay.
Oh,
We'll
only
crowdfund
$1 million.
that
Yeah, just
then.
look
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
down the back of your couch. I'm sure there's some change lying around
Yeah.
there.
But regardless, thank you so much for giving us such an incredible resource. All
Mm.
of us who are really nerdy about Rocky Horror
Hmm.
are delighted to have this. And oh my God, I can't wait for the book. I know I'm going to be just dying over all of the
Right.
information contained in
I'll
that.
I'll be sure to send them along to you once they come out. And
Oh,
then,
that'd be wonderful.
I mean, the end goal for all of this is that even when it's on streaming and available for download and DVD and all the rest
Mhm.
of it, the goal is to have it as a double feature with Rocky on the weekends, so that once you're finished watching it, you're so pumped up,
Yeah.
ready to watch the midnight screening. That's my eventual dream, basically, for it. So it will live on as a companion to Rocky.
Yeah, it definitely gives a deep context for the movie that I think would be
Right. Yeah,
helpful for a lot of
as it
people.
should.
Yeah.
Great.
I know Leandra has to run. Do you have any other questions, Leandra?
No, thank you just so much for taking this time. I really appreciate it. Our listeners certainly will too, but you've been just absolutely amazing.
Yes, you have
And
been so
this has
generous
been a
with your
dream.
time
Oh,
and
thank you so
just
much.
so
It's been
sweet.
a pleasure to talk to people who care so much about something that's very dear to us, and I thank you very much. It's
Yeah.
very much appreciated.
I mean, seriously, anyone who knows me will tell you that I don't gush like this just to be polite. I'm genuinely so happy and excited with how it turned out, and I really can't wait for all of our listeners to see it as well.
Great.
Thank you again so much for
Well,
joining us.
it's been an absolute pleasure, Kelly and Leandra, and I'll speak to you soon. Maybe we can chat again in a couple of months when we can see
Love
the
that.
effects of everything that's gone on. It'll be great.
Oh, absolutely.
Good luck as it rolls out in theaters.
Thank you so much.